go into the cells, we will look at the column percentages, that is, we just did that on our lecture PDF. Before that, observed values will come out, you can look for the expected values. And these are the expected values. The 1.95 has been rounded up to 2. The next one in our calculation was a 4 point, sophomore group was, we had a 4.88, they rounded to 4.9. For the juniors, we had a 3.9, they have a 3.9, and for the senior, we had a 2.27. This is in our calculation, those notes that I was just showing you. 2.27, they made it to 2.3. So this is just, that's what you get, the same values. Now we want to look at the column percents. So go back to that. Look at cells and look at column percents. You can remove the expected because you don't want so much clutter. And here are all your values. So you're going to copy and paste this onto your document, your Word document. These are expected frequencies. This is your conditional distribution of political affiliation, the distribution of political affiliation in each class. That is what's written over here. And you're getting the same thing, 16.7 and 66.7, same thing. That is a 32.5. This is at 45 for the Republican. Interpretation of your contingency table. When you interpret this, look at the group with 100% and write. So in the freshman group, 16.7 were Democrats, 66 were Republicans, 16.7% were other. Those add up to 100%, so you can compare them and say which is more or which is less. Similarly, in the junior group, these are the percentages of Democrats, other, and Republican, and they add up to 100%. So I have those 4 sentences written if you need to know how to interpret the table or you're asked to do that. Okay, now you want to look at your segmented bar graph. So go back to this. First of all, the chi-square test. If you go to statistics and check chi-square, it's going to give you the chi-square test, and it's this little box over here. You copy and paste this. We are doing the Pearson chi-square test. That's your 3.082, and this is your p-value. This is a two-sided test. You use p-value of 0.799, whatever there is. You don't have to do anything, divide, nothing. This is a p-value which we didn't calculate. So this is more than an alpha of 0.05, so you got your do not reject the null. Don't worry about likelihood ratio, that's another test we didn't cover. So you're going to pull out Pearson chi-square. Okay, let's see how the graphs work. There is a bug in this for the graphs. Let's see how it is. So bars. You're going to come up with this. Put your category, put the political affiliation, define stats by class. So one variable goes here, one variable goes here, and we want to see the percentage of cases. We're interested in the percentage always. And that's all you have to do. Click on OK.
Got it.
Now you're going to double click, you want to see the percentages, so elements show data labels just as we've done before. We need those percentages. copy and paste this table, because you will need it, into your picture should be the same, the numbers should be the same as your table. Go to the table and see what they are. So now you have four, in this picture you have four colors here for your boxes or bars. So in the freshman group, the blue one, 16.7 were Democrat, 16.7 were other, and 66.7 were Republican. And all those numbers in the blue boxes should add up to 100%. So it's similar to this, just looks different there. It's in a colored bar. Next group is your sophomore group. That's your orange color here. In the sophomore group, in the orange group, you have 26.7% Democrat, 20% other, 53.3% Republican. These numbers should add up to 100%, just as your table is adding up to 100%. Okay, so the same way you're going to check that this is looking just like your table. In other words, your segmented bar graph represents the table that you just created. Okay, now you're going to write about this. So you have four different colors. You're going to write four sentences. So the first color is blue, that's for freshmen. Your first sentence is freshman. In the freshman group, write who is your largest proportion, Republican. The larger proportion were Republican, and write down your percentage. There are lots of percents. You got to write down what you are referring to. Put it down. In the sophomore group, there is your orange one. Again, you have the largest one. Basically, you're comparing the size of all the orange ones. You're comparing the size of the blue ones. That's what we're doing. So we are just writing down this one is a larger group than the other, this one is larger than the two blues, which are very close. So in the sophomore group, a larger proportion were Republicans, and put down that number, 53.3%. Junior is the red one. In that, the largest group was your Democrat, put down that number, and then in the senior, you were in green, and there again, we have the Democrat. Varying proportions of political groups by class groups indicate there may be an association between the two variables. Does that make sense? So you just write like this. And now we want to test. So, before we test, because we know the testing, let me now show you the row percentages. What if you did a row percent? Go back to that. Go back to your descriptive. And now it's in the cells, instead of column percents, let's ask for the row percent. So these are your row percents. So just copy and paste onto that PDF. These are your row percents. So basically what we did over here is the same table. Instead of dividing all the numbers by the column total, you're going to divide it by the row total. So you're going to do 1 divided by 13, you're going to do 5 by 13, 3 by 13, and 4 by 13. And you will get these percentages, and these percentages are all adding up to 100%. Similarly, 1 by 9. So now for each political group, you have a distribution. See this distribution of class This is the distribution of class for each political group, freshman, junior, senior, sophomore. Each group distribution of class. 1% here, 33% here, 32 here, and so on. Is that okay? And this is interpretation of your row percentages. And I've written it all out here. So in the Democrat group, 7.7% were freshmen, 38% were junior, 23% were senior, and all that. It's all written over there. So the 3 sentences tell you, and they all add up to 100%. It's all written. Description of your row percentages is all here. Okay, now you want to do the segmented bar graph for this table. So go back to there. Go into your graphs again. Bar. Cluster. Percent cases. So just switch these. So now your political group is going to be down and your class is going to be in the category axis. Everything else remains the same. You have another double click elements, show data labels, the percentages will come up. And you'll copy and paste. So now you have 3 different colors. So let's copy and paste into the these are row percents. The picture should be the same. So now you have 3 colors. So in the Democratic group, you have 7.7 freshman, 38.5 junior, 23 and 30. In the Democrat group, 7.7 freshman, 33 junior, 23 sophomore, senior, and sophomore. They add up to 100%. Okay, so you check this way. In other words, all the blue percentages should add up to 100%, all the red percentages should add up to 100%, all your green percentages should add up to 100%. Make sure of that. Okay? Because many times we have students have a picture like this, but the interpretation is for the column percent. They have a row percent table with, so just keep in mind what's coming from the table, what's this, and think a little bit. So now you have 3 colors here, you will have 3 sentences. Previously you had 4 colors, you had 4 sentences. Now you have 3 colors, you have 3 sentences. So first one is Democrat. So what will you write about this Democratic group? Basically you're trying to say which group has the largest percent, or you can pick the smallest percent out. So you can compare the smallest percent in all the groups. So in the Democratic group, the smallest proportion were freshmen, 7.7%. What about the Republican? Where is the smallest? Republican is the green one. Which one is the smallest?
The
Senior, 11.1%. And in the other also you have a smallest 11.1. So you can write that also. Basically you're trying to write that there is a difference in the proportions. So here we picked the smallest ones, the others were much bigger. And the previous one, most of them were small, we picked the biggest group. It doesn't matter. So long as you write which one is the largest, if you're talking about the largest, talk about the largest for all 3 groups. If you're doing smallest, compare the smallest for all 3 groups. So I picked the smallest one and I wrote the 7.7% and the 11.1%. Smallest proportion of this. So you have 3 sentences, again varying proportions of this group and this group indicates there may be an association. paragraph, good. So read it because everything is explained. All you have to do is spend a little bit of time, think a little bit, it will make sense. And then you can recreate this. Okay, so if I'm asking you to test for independence, political affiliation and class are independent, they are dependent, pair of hypothesis, test statistic is a 3.082 which came from the table. You need to copy and paste it just once. And here you're not looking at any tables, there was no hand calculation, so you're gonna just use the p-value greater than alpha. Do not reject the null, and you're concluding that the two groups are independent. For association, your pair of hypothesis language will change a little bit. Same test statistic, same p-value, same decision, and your conclusion has to match what you're testing. And it's there. And then if you want to do for homogeneity, this is the language that your book uses. Essentially, you're trying to see if the proportions of each of these is the same in the other categories of the other variables. The proportions of Democrat, Republican are the same among the questions. So this is what it means. You spelled out. That's your test statistic, p-value, decision, and then your conclusion. And that's all that you have to do. And that's the end of your syllabus. So your last homework, you have one problem to do a hand calculation, and one will be with the computer. Okay, that will be the end. Now, your final exam, do you know when it is?
10th?
10th, the last class?
No.
Oh,